Well, it's definitely on here. Welcome to game number 3. The winner moves on. The loser is done with this tournament. Hey, all friends, this is a second round match between shadyforce and WallKicks. I'm hoping that you're having yourself a good day, and I'm hoping you're looking forward because I'm hype. This is going to be a fun match. And joining me for this is Tyler Saul. How's it going?
I'm doing great, Rick. Really looking forward to this matchup. The last two races between these two have been fantastic. Two really, really good races, and nothing better than an elimination match in sports and in rando. You gotta love to see it.
Yep, and we'll talk about the first game and the second game of this series in just a few moments as we've split them to shadyforce won game number 1, WallKicks won game number 2. This is the match between the number 3 seed, WallKicks, and the number 30 seed, shadyforce.
Yeah, we were just talking before we went live. At this point, there's really no such thing as an upset at this point in the tournament. Everybody who is still running in the tournament is a top flight runner in their own rights. So hopefully these two put on a show for us today.
What are you looking forward to in this match? What would you like to see the Uncle give our runners?
I always want to see something that either something really straightforward that they can execute really well, like a sword, or just something completely off the wall, like a cane of Burna, and make them think. Nothing in the middle. That's what I want to see, is something either really clean or a really crazy.
All right, the winner of this match will face the winner of the Aussie versus Arior in the next round, the third round, the round of 16. The loser, sadly, they are done with the tournament. So let's go. Let's get some hype here. Are we going to have some fun?
I certainly plan to. Chat, are you guys having fun?
I'm ready to have a lot of fun with this match. Although I'm worried about the fact that this seed code has 2 medallions in it, but we'll see how that goes in just a moment.
Never a good sign. Red mail is for cowards, and that's why you're not allowed to have it in hard standard in the main tournament.
Really? I thought it had more. Well, I guess we don't have to worry about bombs for this entire run. So I guess we do get a little more time to go ahead and talk about the past matches. So we'll actually do that while we're going through the escape sequence, because we don't need to farm for those bombs for those 3 at the start of this run. And we do see shadyforce dropping his typical ghost sprite for, well, nothing.
That's fantastic. I don't think I've seen that sprite before, and I absolutely love it. Today, our uncle gives us the Cane of Samaria. That counts under my criteria. I have to get a little creative with that a couple times.
And here's the fun thing is that you're probably not going to see these runners use a whole lot of it unless they absolutely need to in order to stay alive, because of the fact that we did get those 3 bombs. And we make our way here through the castle. So I guess at this point in time, you want to talk about what happened in the first 2 games of this series?
Yeah, so to my recollection, at least, neither of the first 2 games were particularly close. Shady took game 1, just kind of god routed it, and then game 2, WallKicks went through Spiral Cave, everybody's favorite up on the mountain, found the mirror, and unfortunately Shady missed that in game number 2, and that was the big difference there. So what will be the difference here? We don't know. We're going to see whether one of these runners does a really unorthodox route, tries to zig where the other zags, that you often see in these 1v1 matches. Yeah, it should be a great match, though.
Yeah, so here we go. As we make our way through this escape, obviously we've got a lot of things we got to figure out about this seed. Neither runner doing a map check, so therefore we don't even have that option open to us at this stage. Both of these two still quite in sync together. Getting it so... Okay.
Couple more bombs here. Now we don't even need to really worry about it. We can use those.
Yeah.
So
we can make our way over towards Kakariko village. We have enough bombs to do everything that we need to do in the early session of this game. So therefore, there is absolutely 0 reason to kill anything that, simply put, The only reason why you're killing things is if they get in your way. So we're going to go with the double pot strat here for Shady Force. Wall kick going with the 1 pot plus 2 block hits. All right, so we get ourselves a shield in that first or that chest there, and make our way to the upstairs. Now we can guarantee one thing: Dark Cross is going to have the key.
Yep, need that key to get through. If the key weren't there, this would be a very short race. Neither of our runners would be able to finish. I don't know what we would do in that case, but luckily we don't need to worry about that. And the nice thing with that shield is now we can see where Shady's sprite is a little bit easier.
I'm still having a hard time placing it.
Oh, it's right there next to Zelda.
Which one's Zelda?
I think it's the one in the blue suit. I'm pretty sure that's right.
I thought this was the Legend of Zelda.
Well, you know, it's not the most accurate name. I think you might have an objection to that.
I mean, we hear about the Legend of Link so much, but we don't really ever hear the backstory of Zelda.
No, it's true. You get a decent amount of that in Breath of the Wild. I would say we get some good Zelda content in Breath of the Wild. But back in 1991 when this game was released, you know, damsel in distress. That's enough of a character for them at this point.
I mean, what do you expect from us? We got nothing else to talk about over the course of the next 2 minutes until we get to Kakariko Village. We might as well have a little bit of fun with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I haven't asked this question too much during the course of this tournament. What do you think is going to be the Go Mode item?
Ooh. Let's see. I think that you know what we found, you know what I haven't seen yet this tournament is a good old hammer Go Mode. That's the most annoying Go Mode item for me. Means you have to do a lot of walking around and whatever. I haven't seen that yet. I'm sure it's happened. But I haven't seen a good hammer Go Mode in a while. That would be fun.
We're getting some content in chat, or people giving us some guesses on what they would think, or what they would actually like to see in Go Mode to be. We got some boots, maybe a nice rod, which is going to be annoying, maybe a sword, which is also annoying as it is as well. So, I mean, we definitely could say more about these runners. These runners have been featured many times over the course of this tournament, including WallKicks, who's showing off a faster version of the escape here, getting through this at 550. Had a pretty nasty Samaria shot to take care of that key rat.
Yeah, but both of these runners out of escape under 6 minutes. You'd love to see that, especially with Canis Samaria, not one of the faster items, not one of the faster weapons to get through escape. So sub 6 with Canis Samaria is pretty good. As we see, that was 2 regular crystals at one at Desert and one at Eastern, I believe.
No, Eastern was red pendant.
Eastern was the pendant. Okay, one at Hera then, yeah.
All right, we have a little bit of a breakup between these two. WallKicks going straight, not even going to bother checking the lumberjack at this stage, and we'll go ahead and see what we get there in just a moment. Whether or not we have to go and deal with Aga 1 at some point in time, we find out that the Tier 3 tree pull is very disgusting with single rupees. And, well, that's 10 arrows. We're not going to be finishing off against Aga for that purpose.
Yeah, not much so far, I have to say. I like this divergence, one player getting the lumberjack knowledge. I used to be a check lumberjack every time kind of guy. I've recently started skipping it until I have the boots. Where do you come down on that, Rick? Do you like to go for that extra information early, or do you try to put that off until you are in the mode where you're looking at Aga or you have the boots?
I like knowing whether or not I have to do with the Aga at some point in time, but I can get the reasons behind not checking it early on. I just like finding out whether or not I need to do so. But then again, I'm a person who lost a tournament race due to not checking the pedestal fast enough.
Well, why do we all do things in this game if not because doing the opposite has burned us before? So,
Why do we play this game? Single
well,
arrow found.
another question.
Yay.
A unique item is in Blind Hut.
Hey, there's 10 more of those, too.
No one needs a bow now.
Alrighty, so as we go through this Kakariko village right now, if we get the hammer, that would be nice for routing, because then we can go ahead and check that magic powder before we leave town.
Yeah, that's always nice. I'm always suspicious of that early magic powder. It's like, is something important going to be on Magic Bat? And usually it's not, and I just get paid. So there you go, Rick.
There we go. So you want to be worried about Spear 1 fetch quests, because they could very well come into play. And as we get ourselves a whole bunch of rupees here in the well, in addition to that hammer.
Yeah, all the Kakariko youths have been throwing their rupees down into the town well to get wishes, and they don't realize that the place you do that is down at Lake Hylia and not in town. But their loss and our profit.
Well, there's water in that well, so I don't know what the problem is.
Well, but there's not a fairy who grants wishes in the well, is the problem.
Oh, you're talking about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that fairy before in this seed. Well, not necessarily the fairy itself, but of course the items that you normally give by way of that. Of course, just ask shadyforce, as he ended up buying a whole bunch of bomb upgrades for that one match against someone where, yeah, Moldorm 2 bounce.
Always a fun one there. I was watching a match I think it was a tiebreaker match in the group stages. It was like a winner go home, and somebody bought 45 bombs. I'm blanking on who it was. 45 bombs right off the bat, getting ready for a Moldorm bounce, and then nailed it like second try. So that's how you know you're gonna nail it, is you have to go and buy as many bombs as you can. Here's our magic bat check from WallKicks.
So is that early magic powder worth something? No.
Nope. Debated.
You still always worry about those early fetch quests. But at least now that we got that off the table, we can move on with our lives. Shadyforce pulling out the hammer looks like he's going to do the same exact check. As these two give each other a high five of the transition. Head on over towards the library, see whether or not the boots are going to be required to get an item that's in progression, or whether or not that we need to go and do the race game. Now, we don't really have much of a direction at this stage for the seed, so do you do a blind check of this race game?
Yeah, considering that we got absolutely nothing out of Kakariko, I think I would do the blind check at this point. It's only about a 12% chance that it's going to be required. But it's just funny here today.
I was going to say, I didn't even get to see that item when WallKicks had the save and quit menu up already, trying to really save those frames, it looks like, as WallKicks trying to go through this game number 3. And really, the big difference was the fact that WallKicks didn't check Lumberjack. That's the only reason why these two have a little bit of a separation at this stage.
That's the only difference between these two, and that's pretty artificial. That'll get thrown out in the wash eventually here. WallKicks giving us some new info out at the dam. Makes sense to go to South Shore next as we get the OK Boomerang. Like to see that. Check that stun prize. And nice to, without a glove, without a bow, pushing us in like one of the other directions, South Shore, the clear next play. And we will probably see Shady go there next as well.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't get anything, so therefore the allure of these 7 items, 8 if you include Ice Rod Cave, is way too strong. As we do find a piece of heart underneath the water, and that does get us up to 5 hearts, and WallKicks is going to go and check another Spear 1 check that a lot of people would like to put off for a while.
Yeah, heading over to Agina. I've seen people start to do this play a little bit more lately in the tournament in particular, where instead of just hard isolating Agina, they will go to the dam and then go over to check Agina, save and quit back to Link's house, and then swing over towards Mini Moldorm Cave and Ice Rod Cave. And I sort of like that, you know, like being thorough, getting those Sphere 1 checks. Always feels bad to miss something important in Sphere 1 and leave it until real late. Just 3 bombs in Agina today too, and looks like Shady's doing the same thing.
Not even picking up that piece of heart, which is quite interesting here. So, yep, these two are going to go in the same direction.
Pure time save, skipping that piece of heart.
Well, we'll see if it's a pure time save, if it turns out to be a death coming up here due to a lack of hearts. All right, well, obviously things do hurt you for quite a few hearts here. We do see 20 rupees on the ledge. Shadyforce trying to avoid these things. I guess they have a proper name, but a lot of people like to give it a different name.
Yeah, I have no idea what those guys are called for real. It occurs to me.
Yeah. People normally refer to them as the jazz hands, of course, but okay,
yeah.
so Shadyforce is about to go ahead and pick up these these 3 bombs, rather, and WallKicks is now finished off with the Mini Moldorm Cave. Another early fetch quest with a mushroom. And a whole bunch of nothing else.
Oh boy, absolutely nothing so far, other than a couple of fetch quests. That hammer and the cane, obviously from Uncle, that we got. The 2 best things. I would imagine. I wouldn't be surprised to see at least one of our runners after Ice Rod Cave here to do and chase that mushroom really quick. Fake flipper into the swamp portal or into the swamp whirlpool portal, and go chase that mushroom right away.
And the amazing thing is, besides the bomb shreds that we just saw there from Shadyforce, that was pretty good too. The interesting thing is we don't need to do the save scum this time around because we already have gotten the magic bat out of the way.
Yeah, don't even need to worry about it. Just get rid of that mushroom, see whether something is there. Just more bombs. So is the mushroom our answer? Is Saha our answer? Are we going to be forced to dip into an early Eastern Palace without the bow?
Did we actually remember to put the items in this game?
I mean, that wasn't my job. So I don't know.
I think we're in trouble then.
Yeah, this could be a long seed, folks. Yeah, our tracker, Will WC, I think, was supposed to be on that. So,
Okay, good. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault then. Good.
Yeah, I should really put that in the manual. I agree, Will. Just more bombs at Ice Rod Cave. We knew that because WallKicks already showed us. WallKicks is turning in that mushroom right away.
All right, mushroom leads to Zippity Doo Dah.
Oh, man. All right. Saha and Eastern is the play. If you find, say, the flute in Saha, do you go into Eastern?
Yes, you go to Eastern.
Yeah.
Because what does flute open up? 1 item.
2 up on the mountain. I mean, like one of them, I guess one is out of logic, but yeah.
Right, that's what I meant, is logically that only opens up 1 item.
That's true, yeah. So I guess you would. I think about dipping into Eastern there. So, hopefully we find a bow here. That would be really nice.
Hopefully
it wouldn't be in logic, but
Tyler, hopefully we find
something at all, right? And Eastern's pendant. So here you go. Our green pendant at Ice Palace.
All right, that's something. That's the Moon Pearl. Hey, we got a sword.
All right. So those are both nice. Neither of them is progression at this point. So we got a glove in pendant Eastern, I suppose.
Alrighty, so as we head over towards Eastern, we have ourselves access to, at the minimum, 1 item in logic. Depending on how everything turns out, obviously the skill level of these two runners, they will be able to get 2 minimum items. Maybe we can get all 3. Maybe we'll get lucky. All right, first check if Eastern turns out to be our Dark World access right there. There's the glove. WallKicks is continuing through here, so this is a potential point where shadyforce could opt to do a save and quit and immediately go to the Dark World.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think if you're going to dip Pendant Eastern, and you should at least check both of these two chests. I mean, if you need to come back in here, it'll be a little bit faster, but I wouldn't be surprised to see one of our runners fail here now that we have Dark World access. WallKicks continuing on.
That's right. So we do get ourselves the map in the second chest. We'll see what we have in the compass chest momentarily. And now we go to check over on shadyforce, see whether or not he chooses to grab this glove and go or continue on inside of this eastern dungeon. And he's going to continue on as well.
Yeah, I think that's probably the play. You found so little at this point. I know that, now you've got Dark World access, there's plenty more to do, but not all that much. It would be nice to be able to find, say, a fire rod in here, to say be able to do a Skull Woods if we're headed over that way. A mirror in here would be nice, but that's it. Nothing else so far.
Logically, that is it for this eastern dungeon. Obviously, we can still get that second item because these two runners know how to navigate their way through the dark rooms. So we will at least find out what we have in the eastern big key chest. As shadyforce makes his way around, and he will at least get to the big chest. We'll see if he chooses to continue on here. And I think at this stage you want to, but again, maybe you might be thinking where logic wants to send you, because we're out of options at this point. That glove does open up one light world check.
Yeah,
it opens up.
Yeah, King Zora, the only other check that would open up in logic here. There's Arcane of Burna, interestingly, in the vanilla big key chest. Shady is going to get that as well. But WallKicks headed into the Dark World down here at the Hype Cave portal.
All right, so we know 2 of our pendants, Ice Palace and Eastern. What is going to be the third?
Pod, just to make this decision as tricky as possible right here.
Swamp, because this tournament.
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
I missed it. It was not Swamp. It was not Pod.
Yeah, it wasn't the 2 that we ended up picking. Anyways, we'll have some eyes in chat going and give us to us Thieves Town, of course.
The worst pendant dungeon.
Why is it worst?
It's because it's always available super early and it doesn't require much to clear, right? And so if it's pendant, you're like, oh man, I don't want to go in there. But there's a fire rod in Hype Cave. WallKicks making the right choice to go to Hype Cave first. Going to be able to clear out 5-6 crystal over at a Swamp Woods. Yes, Skull Woods. Swamp Woods.
This isn't an entrance shuffle.
I'm gonna petition that we. I looked this up, so this is my new hobby horse. 5-6 crystals were skull and pod, by the way. So a swamp technically has trees in it, right? That is a defining characteristic of a swamp, as opposed to something like a bog, right? There are no trees down here by Swamp Palace, so I petition that it's Bog Palace and not Swamp Palace. What do you think?
Okay, WallKicks is making his way over towards the digging game. I mean, there's definitely no signs of life there, except for those little crawly things that are inside the water and those fishy things that do a lot of damage to Link. But I don't know.
I mean, you know, it's 30 years old now. Nobody's going to change it. But this is my mission. Oh, there are the
Oh,
mitts.
hi there. That's
What a
good for
convenient
routing.
place. What a convenient place for the mitts there at Big Game. Can head right back up into the village of Outcast.
Alrighty, so Shady Force will get those Titans mids in just a moment, as WallKicks, interestingly enough, is going to go ahead and grab the breadsmith at this stage, and then make our way into the brewery, where we're going to find our next, well, it's going to be something. We don't know if it's going to be an actual item to be needed to beat this game or something, but yeah, we don't need that piece of heart to beat this game.
No, that's interesting. So WallKicks picking up the smith there means that, you know, with the mitts and the hammer and everything like that, it's not a big deal. But WallKicks is committing to a save and quit before, unless we find the mirror here, is committing to a save and quit before jumping into Thieves Town or Skull Woods. Shady, on the other hand, is saving and quitting. And so perhaps up to Sanctuary, I assume.
All right, so inside the peg cave, WallKicks finds 10 arrows, which isn't anything that we really need at this point. So we're going to be leaning around the breadsmith for a little while. Don't know when where WallKicks plans on terminating this route. Obviously, with the breadsmith, we cannot go into Thieves Town, cannot get into the first 4 there. We can drop down into certain holes. Okay, that gives you more incentive to do a save and quit and bring the breadsmith back home.
Doot, that's the flute. Yeah, so that makes. I would imagine, WallKicks is going to head up here and finish this route here with a save and quit after peaking at Bumper Ledge. That would be my guess, but it's right here.
We're gonna do it right here at the chess game. Shady Force going inside of Skull Woods. 2 items inside as part of our 5-6 collection. The one kind of concerning thing is where we sit health-wise.
Yeah, 5 hearts, green mail, fighter stored Moldorm with no bottles is not a fun time. Not an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination. So even for top flight runners like these two. So will be interesting to see how Shady Force manages in that headed up here in just a minute. I always say Mothula. I always say Moldorm when I mean Mothula. And I always say Mothula when I mean Moldorm. So there you go. It's a good question in chat there. Why did Shady save and quit from Dig Game just to go back into Village of Outcast? And I think that now that I see Will answering that, I think that's right. Probably anticipated it. A little bit of muscle memory to save and quit there. Got the myths. It's like, oh, all right, we'll just go with it at that point.
Yeah, because unless you get the mitts or the mirror, that kind of is a termination of a route. And breadsmiths themselves only turns into a heart. And I wouldn't be surprised to see WallKicks choose to go over towards the Mire area. First of all, we're going to find out what medallion we need. And secondly, we get into Mire's shed. Well, obviously, after we check what's on Desert Ledge first. But this does give us some information we need to beat this game.
Yep, Mire is a crystal. We are going to beat that. I haven't found any of the medallions so far. So this makes sense. Oh no, Shady, having a little bit of trouble with these torches.
Okay, he did have enough time to get through. WallKicks having some issues with Myrtle Dactyls, and then it's the Bombos we need to get into. Oof, whoa, this is scary. There we go. All right. So, Bombos, we need to get into Mystery Mire, and here's the question is how Shady Force is going to do against this, okay. Against, Mothula. This could be a dicey fight. 2 hearts means that if you get tackled by Mothula or get hit by those fire beam things that it throws at you, you're back to start.
Yeah, so if you're going to get hit by something in this fight, Shady, get hit by a spike, because you can do 2 of those, but only 1 from Moth. Hammer does temperature damage, though.
Oh, beautiful fight.
Really fantastic fight there from Shady.
In the mirror!
Oh, boy!
That's a good find there for Shady Force because of the amount of time that WallKicks ended up spending with the Breadsmith chain. That mirror is going to at least help out in that regards. But the first crystal of the game going to Shady Force, and WallKicks not too far behind. Only has 1 extra heart for this upcoming fight by way of what he got from the Breadsmiths. So that's a pretty decent find there for Shady Force as he now makes his way to the first section of this Skull Woods.
Yeah, and not only is that time save on the Smith chain that WallKicks just did without the mirror, it's also a little bit more efficient of a mire area check. Because now Shady is going to be able to go through there, check the mire medallion and mire shed and checkerboard and dip into potentially even full clear Desert Palace if it's not boots locked in 1 trip. So more time save for Shady there as he gets the second item, a full heart container in the first chest there in the front.
You're never going to complain about getting that. Obviously, you think, why couldn't I get this before? But we did see Shady Force pulled off a very solid, wonderful Mothula fight, and we're going to see how WallKicks does in just a moment. And we're going to see what we have on Bumper Ledge in just a second on Shady Force's side. Mirror might also contemplate a trip. Oh
boy, that was a hook shot up there on the ledge. So we're gonna need that cape. So good knowledge for Shady, and you hope that that WallKicks takes a look at that as well.
All right, there's the death abuse there for WallKicks to get back to the first section of this. Shady Force about to get the flu, and the nice thing about where it's placed here in the Sea House is that he can just do a quick mirror to activate it.
Yeah, it's funny. Our runners have done all of the same checks. The only difference in checks that they've actually done has been that Lumberjack, that Shady, took a look at Lumberjack Ledge and WallKicks didn't. But the order in which you do these things is really important as well. And going and getting that mirror, obviously they don't know. Nice full magic there for WallKicks. But being able to get that, to get that mirror before doing the rest of the Village of Outcast checks, before doing Smith Chain, is really going to make everything a little bit more efficient for Shady here. Nice little brief, I would say, advantage for Shady Force.
All right, WallKicks going up against the Mothula fight. Got a very generous RNG drop there from the Big Yibdo there in the torch room. Now trying to torch him over here. 6 hearts instead of the 2 that Shady Force had. Trying to keep this fight manageable. Switches on over towards the hammer now that his magic is gone. Trying to get him at least out of the corner. And this is a rougher Mothula fight for WallKicks as opposed to what we saw from Shady Force.
Moth sticking on those spikes, making life difficult for WallKicks, doing a really good job of avoiding the spikes.
There we go.
Great fight by WallKicks as well.
Neither of these runners took damage on Mothula.
Well,
think about that.
In the main tournament, everybody left is really good at this game.
That's exactly what I'm getting at with that statement. Think about that. That is a tremendous, both runners with an amazing, wonderful Mothula fight. Shady Forces was a little bit faster, but WallKicks still, again, no damage taken. So therefore, good fights for both of these runners. And here comes the question. Does WallKicks see that hook shot? Now, that's a good sword find right there in Pendant Thieves Town for Shady Force.
Yeah, we'll be interesting to see whether WallKicks heads into Thieves Town here. I have to imagine the answer to that is yes. I'm not sure, what other. There's not a ton else in logic. It's either this or over into the pod Pyramid Ledge Catfish area, and that doesn't sound great to me. I don't know. It probably doesn't sound great to either of our runners as well. So
yeah, but the bigger question here is does WallKicks see that hook shot on Bumper Ledge? That's going to be the bigger question.
That is a big question for sure, yeah. And walking out, I have to assume he's going to check it. He's right here.
And I was surprised that Shady Force didn't opt to take a trip over to Graveyard Ledge. Maybe we might see WallKicks do that. Here, Shady Force does the Breastman Chain. Going to be able to take this a little bit faster because of that mirror find. And then there's the hookshot find for WallKicks. And then Purple Chest is going to be an easy trip. And then I think you go to the desert area.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, WallKicks is headed over to Graveyard Ledge here, having already done the other Village of Outcast checks. So is going to be isolating Purple Chest a little bit, I would say. But with the flutes, not too bad to go pick that up a little bit later.
All right, there's the Brett Smith return for Shady Force, and WallKicks going to find out what's that Graveyard Ledge, which turns out to be now a loose square for Shady Force. So it's a good thing that it's just 50 rupees because, as we remember, when Shady Force created a loose square in game number 2, it turned into a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, that leaving that mirror behind in Spiral Cave, not great here. WallKicks headed up the mountain. Not gonna make sense for WallKicks to do this, having already been to the Mire area with that hammer and the mirror and the mitts. We have full access to Death Mountain. The only things that we won't be able to do are check the Ether Tablet. Nothing in Hookshot Cave is available to us, but we can't open Turtle Rock yet without a medallion. But just about everything else able to do up on the mountain.
All right, while you mentioning all of that, WallKicks was able to save the old man who, well, I guess we can check the Ether Tablet.
Oh, well, that's convenient. Important also to note, WallKicks did not go into Thieves Town, and so is going to be missing that sword in the that was in the front 4. So this is hard mode. Our runners will be capped at a tempered sword. But there are still 4 in the pool. So WallKicks isn't locked out of tempered sword at this point by any stretch of the imagination. We got all the fetch quests right in the beginning.
Oh, there's a sword.
Speaking of swords.
All right, so that sword difference here is not going to really impact WallKicks as far as not being able to get the item off the Ether Tablet. So Shady Force doing some nice Myrtle Dactyl dodging, and WallKicks going upstairs to grab this Master Sword, which will become the Tempered Sword if Shady Force comes up here anytime soon.
Yeah, so Shady's almost certainly, I can't imagine any situation in which Shady doesn't get Tempered Sword. So we're going to be on the lookout for that 4th sword for WallKicks, or whether he ends up heading into Thieves Town to grab that one in the 3rd chest there.
Can I honestly say that was a sick bomb jump right there from WallKicks? Pulled it off without much of a flinch, and so WallKicks will grab this shovel, and then we'll get to see a little bit of Tower of Hera. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to Hera pot. And what was on that torch?
I looked away. I did not see it. Small key on the board.
Hey, that's our first bottle right there on the tablet.
Speaking of fetch quests, and we are boots locked in Desert Palace, so we will be finding those boots at some point. Desert is a crystal. We are boots locked there with the key on the torch and the map in the first chest.
That's also really good things to know there for Shady Force. The fact that you are going to be boot locked instead of that Desert Palace, so you do know that you need to find the boots for Go Mode at some stage in this run. So Shady Force finding another heart container inside a checkerboard. So the checks that WallKicks was not able to make in the desert area did not necessarily pay out for Shady Force, although it's still good information to have. And now we're going to go ahead and blow ourselves up to the edge of the screen, so that way we can do an easy fake flippers. And now we're going to go and check to see what our friend Zora's going to have in just a moment.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, is this Zora or is this an Ice Palace play? But we're looking at Zora. Ice Palace is not in logic, of course, without the flippers. But we've got the cane, we've got the fire rod, we've got a hammer. It's early. It's green pendant, so maybe we don't want to do that. It's probably not at the top of our runners' minds. But certainly an option if we do a bunch of checks and there's still nothing. Ice Palace is sitting there. Shady Force getting his first bottle in Waterfall Fairy Cave.
And bombs inside of the big chest inside of this Tower of Hera. Now we'll go ahead and see what we can get over at the King Zora area. As WallKicks continues through this Tower of Hera, we find a piece of heart over on the ledge. And yeah, as you mentioned, Ice Palace being green penning, I think kind of plays into your mind a little bit. The fact that, yeah. And even at this stage, it may not be logical for you to beat that dungeon because of the way the key layout might be.
Yeah, could be hook locked for sure. But you know, with that green panda always going to be on their minds. Ooh, just a 1% rate of return from King Zora. Not a great investment there. And WallKicks seeing what he doesn't want to see, that small key from Moldorm, but does get crystal number 2.
All right, so WallKicks now with the crystal advantage. And it's really hard to really call it an advantage at this point in time because, you know, first of all, shadyforce is going to be in here in just a moment. And secondly, there's a little bit of an exploration advantage here for shadyforce. However, I really don't know, because this is the kind of thing. You mentioned before how routing does matter in these races.
Yeah, the routing matters a lot. The order in which you do things matters a lot. Shady is going to have a little bit more information here. Going to have a sword advantage here shortly over WallKicks for at least a little while. So if I had to, you know, it is way too early. This race could still go very much either direction. If I had to pick somebody to be at this point, I would probably say I would rather be shadyforce. But it could go either way.
39 minutes is really too difficult at this level of competition to call the race in one favor, given what we know about this race. Now, obviously, if somebody took a bad death, like for instance, if one of these two took that death to Mothula, who ended up dropping that mirror, and they ended up walking away and never returned for a while, then yeah, that's the kind of race that turns into quite a rough race for one of these two. But you know,
Yeah,
this one is way too close.
Yeah, way too close to call at this point. Shadyforce about to get that tempered sword. WallKicks giving us our first look at Paradox Cave. I would not be surprised to see some progression here. Maybe a bow.
Nah, progression is going to be on that shovel.
That's true. That's true. One of these fetch quests has to pay off eventually, right?
Well, a broken clock is good as right twice a day. 2 good bomb jumps for both of these runners. No progression. No progression. Green 20. We know that's not the sword then. Another piece of heart.
Jack.
So
Paradox Cave.
That green 20 had to be one of our mail upgrades.
Yeah, it did. Nothing else is going to be turning into a green 20. That's what happens in hard mode. When you encounter an item that would have been something if it were allowed in hard mode, at this point for Wally, only thing that could be is one of the mail upgrades.
So shadyforce now with the tempered sword going to go into the Tower of Hera. We'll finish off the dungeon pretty shortly as WallKicks gives us the final 2 checks we have on the east side of Death Mountain. And then needs to make a determination whether or not he wants to go into the Spike Cave to finish off this route. 50 rupees on the top, and there's a Quake Medallion on the bottom, which we know isn't needed to get into Misery-Mar, but we're going to find out real soon whether or not that's going to be what we need to get into the Turtle Rock.
So here's a question for you, Rick. If Turtle Rock is Quake, do you dip it?
At this point in time, given how long it takes for you to get back up here, considering the fact that you know that the hookshot is where it is, you're going in.
Yeah, and WallKicks, the very least, is going to open it up here, and I agree. I think you go in here and looking for that cape. Hopefully, there's still plenty more flippers, the bow, the boots, still lots of stuff that we're going to need for being able to finish this game. Turtle Rock, there are 5 items in here. Everything is... not everything is in logic without the lamp, but everything is accessible except for Trinex without that ice rod. So this is, I think, absolutely the right play for WallKicks.
Yep. I mean, you run the risk of throwing away the race if you decide not to go into the Turtle Rock at this point in time. Like, it's a long walk back. And again, we know where the hook shot is. We know we need a cape for that hook shot. It could very well be here. Yeah. That's something. All right, well, we'll go ahead and focus on the right-hand side, as apparently there's been a little bit of a hiccup for shadyforce, as we'll see what we have inside of this Turtle Rock.
Yeah, WallKicks, very heads up. Remember, you don't have the hook shot. Got to go the long way in that room. That's the real final boss of Turtle Rock for sure.
Bug catching, not necessarily what we need to see.
Well,
Somebody making the comment about how shadyforce's stream has turned into a Doppler radar.
It's really good, like that.
A lot of green in here. It looks like it's gonna rain.
Today's forecast for Hyrule, rain across the kingdom. Back to you, Rick.
Yeah, it is definitely his stream, because you can see based on the timer on the very, very top of the screen, that's also turned into this little bit of a green setting here. So yeah, you know that this is a stream issue, and it's kind of a, we'll hopefully get shadyforce back in just a moment as WallKicks continues to go through this Turtle Rock. And hey, there we go, shadyforce is back, and I would have to assume he did not go into the basement. Same thing with WallKicks, has just finished off against the boss, and therefore is just left the dungeon.
Nothing in the front of TR. So this could be a big turning point if you're shady and decide to take the other side of this gamble, because it is a gamble either way to go into Turtle Rock here. You know the chances that you're going to complete it, as often as the ice rod tends to show up on Laser Bridge, the odds of being able to complete this dungeon are pretty low. So it really could go either way, and could be a big turning point if there's nothing in here and Shady decides to skip it, or if there's something in here and Shady decides to skip it.
I don't see shadyforce skipping this at this stage. Oh, it's a vanilla big key. Okay, I wasn't even keeping track. All right, so shadyforce is going to be clearing out the right side of the mountain, and yep, shadyforce is going to be clearing the mountain, and WallKicks is going to hiccup. Okay, thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, WallKicks has been having some. I know has been having some connection problems throughout the last week or so. So hopefully he will be back here shortly.
Wall is going to yell at his ISP some more. And so I guess at this point in time, let's take a look at the traffic report.
Yeah, backed up all throughout the tubes in Turtle Rock. You can see WallKicks just absolutely at a standstill. He should be back here momentarily. I pulled his stream up and it is going again.
Thank you, reporter Tyler Salt, with your report there. As we do see shadyforce finding out that it is Quake, and little does he know that Quake medallion is just around the corner.
Well, now it's gone again. So wait, no, he's back. All right. I can confirm that so far, nothing in Turtle Rock that we need to be concerned of from WallKicks. I'm looking at his personal track there. There's nothing new there. He's headed into Laser Bridge.
All right, thank you very much for that, Tyler. And let's go to... we'll be back after this. We're back. Here we go. All right, so we're going through the dark room here and making our way towards the other side of the dark room, and we'll see what's on this laser bridge. And Tyler, Are we going to find something good here on this laser bridge, or are we just going to find Buckus? I'll find the key first.
I think we might find something good here.
That bottle isn't good.
In this next chest, it's the bow.
Spoilers.
Well, I mean, he said it right there. I said it as he was opening the chest. So.
You had insider information.
Yeah, of course I did.
All right, Shady Force is going to be going through here too, which is good considering that bow is here. That would now allow us to get into the Palace of Darkness. Now, one issue about this, that bow isn't in logic.
That's true. That bow is lamp locked. Now, lamp logic, more of a suggestion. Really, the lamp probably sitting in the back of Thieves Town somewhere is where I would expect to find it. Yeah, that bow is technically out of logic, but I fully expect that lamp to be available in somewhere that our runners could get it if they needed it.
It's going to be here in Pod, isn't it?
It could be here in Pod. Yeah, I think here in Pod or the back of Thieves Town are the prime choices where it could be sitting on that pyramid ledge, could be underwater with the catfish, a couple different places.
Okay, if you say so. Let's go into this Palace of Darkness. There are 5 items inside. It is a crystal that we do need to do. And so, therefore, let's have some fun. By the way, Tyler, that lamp could be somewhere else that we've already had access to.
Where's that, Rick?
Fire blocked. Down in Hera basement.
That's true, too. That is true, too. So, let's see. Pod not bow locked, at least, which is good news for us.
All right, so WallKicks continuing through here is going to be finding a minimum of 4 small keys to this first section of the Palace of Darkness. And we find a heart container in that second chest, so therefore we will not be checking the big key chest just yet. Downstairs we go. And we do get another small key to continue our great progression through this Palace of Darkness.
Yep, always 4 keys, at least in the front here, in the front 6 chests in Pod. Always good to keep track of that so you can skip the vanilla big key chest if it's possible to do so. WallKicks really hoping for 1 key over here and something else, because then you know that the vanilla big key chest is a small key and we can avoid it.
Yeah, because in that case, it's going to be a key for a key. You have absolutely 0 reasons to open that door up and go upstairs. All right, upstairs we go. WallKicks finds a small key. And then WallKicks finds a small key. So there's that worst consideration that you were talking about. And the worst thing is that big key chest could just very well be vanilla, which would be absolutely rude, and that's why we have to check it right now.
Yeah, it would be a little rude, but you got to check it right now. Got to be able to open that big chest in the back if you need to. It could also still be another small key. That is entirely possible. So at least 4.
Yeah, it's could even be as many as 6. It's a half magic, which is nice, but it doesn't do anything to get us towards our final goal of being able to beat this seed. We do know that we need to get that hook shot, because Swamp Palace is indeed a crystal. There's going to be no Moldorm bounces this time around. We do need to get the boots because we did see a small key on the torch and desert, and the big key is going to be over on the right-hand side. The flippers are going to be needed. The ice rod's going to be needed. The bombos also needed. The cape is needed because that leads to the hook shot, and the lamp is just merely a suggestion at this point.
Yeah, there's still lots of stuff that we're looking for. I will note that because of how Turtle Rock works, right, and when they mirrored out after or left after Laser Bridge, WallKicks was no longer in a. There's our ice rod in Pod. That's unfortunate. But both of our runners already knew they were going to be double dipping TR here. But what their route through TR means is that neither could have that as well. Neither runners were able to get to check Spike Cave super easily here. So we'll see if Shadyforce is going to do the time investment that it's going to take to check that now, or if they're going to try to skip it and see.
Because of the volume of keys that it was over on the right-hand side, we do know that that ice rod is bow-locked. And, of course, therefore, we're still trying to figure out where the slam turns out to be, but we know it's not going to be here instead of this dark maze. That cape will get us to the hook shot, so therefore that's one of our pieces of the puzzle right there. Shadyforce about to get that bow in just a moment, using... well, try to be patient to get through these lasers. Took a bop right there. Now I'm going to go ahead to the Cane Aberna. And is going to just do a save and quit. And that's an annoying spot for that big key, considering the fact that WallKicks had opted to do the hammer yump to get over towards this side. All right, yeah, so Shadyforce is now pulling out the flute. We'll be probably joining WallKicks over here inside of the Palace of Darkness.
You know, at this point, Shadyforce has been following WallKicks for a while. At this point, you know, we're getting towards the hour mark. You got to think that Shady doesn't know this, obviously, but like, if you're rooting for Shadyforce, you really want to see some more digression from between these two. Shadyforce has really got to find the boots first, you know,
or have this issue here where WallKicks gets himself stuck. He was stuck inside of the dark maze and therefore pulled out the mirror. And that is going to yield a little bit of time. Of course, WallKicks still has a little bit of an exploration advantage here. And don't forget, if WallKicks starts to go in some of those checks that Shadyforce has already made, like, for instance, the purple chest, or going into desert without the boots, that's going to be time that WallKicks gives back to Shadyforce.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Well, okay, so WallKicks got the big chest, or got the big key, and seems like it was probably a 50-50 between whether that last item was on the big chest or on Helma. Got to beat Helma, so we're going to go beat him first and go from there.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you are dealing with the possibility of a 50-50, might as well go ahead and do the boss first, and then the one thing you want to do is make sure you remain calm, because the one thing you don't want to do is have a death to give your opponent more time to run.
I know a lot of people tend to, or at least it's out there that people like to do, if you're going to do the dark maze in the dark, to do that hammer yump and do it from back to front. I know a lot of people tend to like that. It doesn't make as much sense to me if you don't have the big key. But I do know that some people do like that. We should probably ask WallKicks about that when we talk to him after the race.
All right. Thankfully, WallKicks was able to pick up a couple of hearts here from those turtles, as that puts him now up to 7 hearts, which gets him a little bit of an emergency range that he would be possibly at with the upcoming Helmasaur fight coming up. Although he did take 2 bops, down to 5 hearts. All right. 17 hits to remove this mask, as it always is. No boots, so we can't do the spin speed in order to no longer have to hold out that sword. There goes the first part. Oh, takes a hug right there. Does have the cape, so this should be a final fight. Wants to bow him down. Oh, no, there we go. Swords him down. That is it. Fight is done. Helmasaur King. Done. Item is a heart container. There's a compass in the big chest. WallKicks may have got lost in that maze, but in the end, it's not going to cost him.
Yep, only a little bit of time. Isn't going to have to go back in for that big chest. Where's WallKicks headed next? Desert, maybe?
All right, so we're going to head on over towards the pyramid ledge by the looks of... Oh, no, we're going to hold on to our portal.
Oh, this is a return to TR.
This is going. Oh, okay. So you got to remember two things that are going to come into play here. WallKicks needs to get over to the bumper cave. Get that hook shot. He's got to do that first because you need to keep that mirror portal.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to go into. Well, you're gonna turn in sick kit here, right?
Yeah,
Because you don't go back up to TR without the hook shot, because you want to be able to check hook shot cave right there as well.
Yep, indeed. And there's the cave for shadyforce. Okay, so we're gonna see WallKicks go into this portal over here. He's gonna go get the hook shot because otherwise your way to get over to Turtle Rock was going to be by way of mirror, which is going to blow your portal. Now, thankfully, when you end up doing this over here, there are some very hungry Myrtledactyls that can easily drain your life.
Yeah, those guys take 2 hearts at the shot, and yeah, you need the hook shot, of course, to get over and use that save portal anyway, because using the mirror. But the extra draw of hook shot cave is really nice. But I think this is the first time I've seen this kind of like double death portal save. So really smart thinking here by WallKicks.
And you gotta remember, shadyforce ended up saving and quitting, so shadyforce is already, by design, going to be going back through into Turtle Rock later on. So we'll see a little bit of that time maybe continuing to go into WallKicks' favor here as we near the 1 hour mark of this game number 3 between WallKicks and shadyforce. We're going to get this hook shot right now. WallKicks then is going to take a nice, lovely little hug from these Myrtledactyls. 2 hits will knock him to the floor. 3 hits, actually. I forgot. It's 3 hearts they do, not 4. All right, we go back to start. At the old man. Hook shot and... Go ahead.
Shady also having a little bit of trouble in the pod dark maze, for what it's worth.
Amazing how much issues there are right now, and it looks like shadyforce is more getting bothered by the Dodongos than anything else inside of this room. All right, shadyforce now getting that map. Now he will get to this big chest, which we can confirm is going to be the compass. And there's the compass, and now it's off to the Helmassar King. If you're rooting for shadyforce, by the way, you don't want anything to be in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, being able to save the portal here is a huge time save for WallKicks. And so you definitely, if there's progression in Hookshot Cave, this is even more time loss for shadyforce, unfortunately.
All right, shadyforce needs to put the block on. Forgot to do that. I think this is where shadyforce needs to keep himself calm after what just happened there in the dark maze, the issues that he had there, because there's going to be that next challenge of the turtle room coming up. So we're at the 1 hour mark in this race. shadyforce versus WallKicks. Game number 3. Win, and you're moving on to face either Aussie versus Arior in round number 3 of this tournament. The loser is done with this tournament. So far, shadyforce right now a little bit behind WallKicks on an exploration here, but it all comes down to what WallKicks might find real soon. Opted to save his portal. shadyforce did not.
Yeah, that's really the big difference. We do know that Desert is boots locked, or Shady knows that, and we know that WallKicks does not. And Shady has a sword advantage, finding a sword in the front of Thieves Town, which WallKicks skipped entirely. So really nice hammer Trinex fight there by Wally.
And also nice dark turtles there for shadyforce. I know he's been struggling with that of late. Map there from the Trinex fight, but again, the question for WallKicks comes out to be what is inside of this Hookshot Cave, because I think shadyforce will put off this for a little while and maybe check other options, although we are really low on our options too.
Yeah, we're running low on in logic options. I got to say, you know what? I mentioned it earlier. You know what's looking like a better and better play? Green Pendant Ice Palace.
Ew. And that's not even in logic just yet.
Yeah, I know, but we are going to find those flippers. Wouldn't be surprised if those flippers. Oh, and there's our fourth sword there for WallKicks. So he's going to have tempered sword. That's good news for Wally. Another 20 rupees.
There's our flippers.
All right.
Okay, so that now opens up Swamp Palace. That opens up Green Pendant Ice Palace. Of those two options, you know which one WallKicks is going to do first.
You know, my guess is Swamp. Right, we're still 2 items from go mode here. He is going to Swamp. You know, there's 6 items in Swamp. It's a crystal. You got to do it anyway. You know, we are, like I said, we're 2 items from go mode. We need Bombos and we need the boots at this point. So WallKicks doesn't know that we need the boots yet, but we do need them for Desert Palace.
And Shady Force's advantage from going through the first 4 of Thieves Town has now been completely erased by way of WallKicks getting that tempered sword. That's going to be a green 20 for Shady Force, so therefore, when Shady does go into Hookshot Cave, he will not get anything of that sort. So, I guess the question is when does Shady Force make the play to go into Hookshot Cave? He's getting the hookshot now, so therefore maybe he'll be funneled into this right now. But, of course, the fact that he's going to be sinking in 2 minutes of Turtle Rock that WallKicks didn't need to do.
Yeah, that's unfortunate time loss for Shady. We'll have to ask him whether he thought about trying to save the portal there in TR. Of course, he just saved and quit out of the Laser Bridge rather than leaving and portaling off the pod. So we should ask him about that as well. But I gotta say, you know, if you're Shady, I'm not sure without the flippers, right? Like, what's your next play if it's not back up to finish TR and do Hookshot Cave?
There's really not much left, and that's the big thing. So Shady Force grabbing that is going to, because we didn't see Shady Force check it earlier, is going to check Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, I guess at this point you can think about a Kern jump here to go check Catfish, but I mean, I don't particularly like that idea. Zelga in chat making a good point that having checked Desert, Shady knows that that the boots he's going to find the boots somewhere, and that Trinex doesn't have an item. So it's possible that he will put that off. He is headed back into. Oh no, he had the mirror out. It's confusing me there for a second. He is fluting away though at this point. But at this point, yeah, I'm not sure what's the play here.
I'm curious. Oh,
Bombos tablet?
5-6.
Oh yeah.
This gets Shady Force to the pyramid. This also gets him to Catfish.
Yeah. If the boots are here in Pyramid Fairy, that could be a nice find for Shady. Although I wouldn't be surprised if WallKicks doesn't make that play right after Swamp Palace as well.
That's going to be the big thing here is by the time that Shady Force gets done with this route, WallKicks is going to have 5 crystals to Shady Force's 3.
Yeah, significant, I would say, advantage. At this point, I'm comfortable calling it a lead for WallKicks. At this point, Shady's got to find those boots somewhere, and hopefully somewhere that Wally doesn't go. If those boots are up at Catfish, maybe Shady Force goes all the way up there, and WallKicks doesn't. Yeah. Not looking great for Shady right now. Not over by any stretch of the imagination, though.
There are 2 items left side Swamp. We've seen the map and we've seen the compass. You mentioned earlier Shady Force. You'd like to see him make a play that WallKicks wasn't. Oh, Ether is not what we need.
Yep. No, we don't need that. Sorry, you were saying.
I was making the mention here that you know, you need to see Shady Force make a play that WallKicks wasn't, and this might be very well be a play that WallKicks isn't going to make for a while, because Catfish is a very slow check and is kind of out of the way at this stage, considering where everything else is.
Yeah, it's perhaps made a little bit more palatable for WallKicks if there ends up being something up here. While he hasn't been up to the Zora area at all, if I recall correctly.
That's right.
Side. So having the mirror, you know, and not having been up to the Zora area, maybe that makes Catfish a little bit more attractive for WallKicks.
All right, so WallKicks now with the 5-3 crystal lead. Has to do left side swamp. We're missing still way too many items at this point. Well, actually, we're missing 2 items. Technically 3, but
we don't care about the lamp at this point.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so here we go. Catfish coming up for Shady Force. Left side swamp coming up for WallKicks. And Catfish coming up for Shady Force turns up to be
not great.
All right, Shady Force leaving away this area. Has already checked Zora. The one that hasn't checked Zora is WallKicks. And, oh, that's right. We got that shovel a while ago.
That shovel sitting up on Spectacle Rock. Is this our Bombos medallion? Are these our boots? We don't know. We will find out when you do in about 30 seconds.
All right, WallKicks taking the long way over here to left side swamp, and Shady Force getting red, but not the red we're looking for.
So that Bombos medallion's in Ice Palace, right?
Why do you want Ice Palace so badly?
It's been available for so long. And I know Zelga's in chat, right? We got the Rule of Fire. We've got Fire Rod. We need Bombos. Bombos is in Ice Palace. Rule of Fire.
A Fire Rod led to the mirror.
And?
It led to that shovel.
Okay. and it could also lead to Bombos.
What I'm saying is, you're probably right, but I don't want that to be right. Because Green Pendant Ice Palace is yucky.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. But, you know, it's getting to be the more and more of an attractive play. Especially, you know, hell, WallKicks might head there next after this left side swamp play. By the way, Ped still alive. Boots could very easily be on Ped, as could Bombos.
You shut your mouth.
I'm just channeling chat here, Rick. What do you want from me?
I want the precise answer and where these items are.
Well, you know, just wait.
There's one of them.
All right. WallKicks now in boots mode. Just needs those boots. If boots are in Misery Mire, that could be it.
All right, there's a green 20 for Shady Force. Little does Shady Force know that that was an actual sword. All right, so WallKicks is going to head over towards the Mire area next. Want to know why?
Because it's crystal, you can beat Mire.
No, you want to know the other reason?
Because
WallKicks wants to find out if he's in go mode right now.
Absolutely, and he's not quite in go mode, but he's pretty close.
All right, so unfortunately for Shady Force, this is where we're going to see him lose time to WallKicks. And all of these extra exploration things that we saw from Shady Force just did not work out for him. And, you know, WallKicks is now in a very comfortable position where if the boots turn out to be somewhere that WallKicks is heading, like, for instance, if it's coming up in this Misery Mire coming up in just a moment, that's going to be pretty much game and set.
Yeah, no, that would be the worst possible outcome there for Shady. Not saving that portal there in TR really came back to hurt him. Unfortunately, this is pure time lost here for Shady. WallKicks knows that now that we are just looking for boots, those boots It's got to be if those boots are in mire here, WallKicks is in business. If they're not, there are a lot of places they could be. And shout outs, by the way, you asked at the very beginning of the seed what was going to be our go mode item. And I didn't say the boots, but I do know somebody in chat did. I know somebody in chat said, when asked, what's going to be our go mode item? Somebody said the boots. And to that person, I say, that was rude. And are you a witch?
That would be Arior, and yes.
Yes.
I mean, his NMG times definitely show that he's a witch.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And also, Ari trying to make these runners tilt as much as possible. Having, of course, Ari, the winner of Ari's next round match with Aussie plays the winner of this match in the round of 16. So, you know, little mind games there from Arior.
Nah, Arior is just flexing. Well, mind games or flexing muscle, either or. I guess it works in either way. That's a small key. That's not the boots that we are looking for. WallKicks just need those to be in go mode. shadyforce with a lot of ground to have to come up and clean up here at this point. I don't know, really honestly, what could happen for shadyforce to get him the chance to get back into this match at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing would be is, like, if those boots are in one of our pendant dungeons, and Shady goes to the right one first, and WallKicks goes to the right one last, you know, then we're in business. But it is, you know, Shady is an entire Swamp Palace behind. You have to think that Shady is going to go to Swamp next with those flippers and full clear it, just like WallKicks did. Gonna find that Bombos medallion on left side, yeah, there's one item in Misery Mire, a red rupee, not what we're looking for.
That's red, but not the red we're looking for. Shoutouts though, of course, everywhere. Great NMG runner, great random runner, great runner overall.
And you know, seems like a nice guy.
I enjoy when Arior gets into the commentary booth. There's the big key. shadyforce now mirroring, and as you said, probably will be fluting to 4 to go towards Link's house, and therefore go into Swamp Palace next. You really need shadyforce to go and make a pendant dive, and I think for shadyforce, the Ice Palace pendant dive would have to be the one, because WallKicks would probably do Thieves Town first.
I would think. That's going to be the quickest of the 3 pendant dungeons to get through, especially because without the quickest, Eastern's probably the fastest, but both of our runners did dip Eastern. There's only one item left in there on the boss. So, you know. But yeah, it's going to be, there's our other item, a big 20 in cutscene chat. So, Mire, not the answer. This is race is far from over.
That's far from over, but again, we need shadyforce to figure out the puzzle to the seed, to figure out where the boots are first. There's a piece of heart on the Bombos tablet, and WallKicks getting ready to head straight to Vitreous. And bear in mind that we've already seen an Eastern play from both of these runners. That was where we needed to get our Dark World access. That's where the gloves were earlier. 2 out of 3 items have been found. The third one's going to be on the Armos, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. This is you know, of all the times for Wally's stream to take a dive right before Dark Mire, not the worst time.
Well, we weren't going to see anything from WallKicks in the next 3 rooms anyway, so I might as well go be frozen on this slide.
But yeah, if at this point, you know, we're going to pendant dungeons. Those are our choices for those boots. Are they in Ice Palace? I have to imagine Wally is not going to go to Thieves Town. chat was bringing this up. Mad Matt and Wally, Shady Force having already been to Thieves Town, WallKicks skipped it entirely. Shady only did the front. WallKicks probably thinking, all right, if boots are in the back of Thieves Town, then Shady has had them for the better part of an hour at this point. And so I would imagine that WallKicks would be leaving that until the end. And hey, look, the victory is fight.
But here's my question: is why would you think that? Why would you think that, given the fact that it is a pendant dungeon?
I think it's not that you wouldn't necessarily think that Shady would have gone in there. I think that as far as like your decision making is concerned, it was a gamble. Most hunters, I think, would at least go in there and dip the front four, right? Even if it being a pendant, they're right there, it's so quick to check them. If you're WallKicks, you're possibly thinking, all right, I have to assume at this point, since this is a 1v1, I have to assume that Shady went into Thieves Town and full cleared it because I skipped it entirely. And so if those boots are back there, this might already be over, right? As far from WallKick's perspective. And so to maximize the chance that you're going to be able to win, you try to go to the places where your opponent is least likely to have already been. In this case, that would mean, as far as I'm concerned, Ice Palace. WallKicks is going to do Pyramid Fairy first. I know I've been hammering Ice Palace so far today, but I really think that it makes sense for WallKicks to make Thieves Town maybe not the last one, considering they've already been through all of Eastern. But if I were WallKicks, I'm assuming Shady has already been in Thieves Town, and my best shot to find those boots and still win is an Ice Palace.
I still don't. I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of mind games that get played when you're in the midst of a 1 versus 1. But, sometimes you put yourself in a position where you make that wrong move. And as such, you end up falling behind. You lose the race sometimes out of that. But, that's kind of where the discussion goes with regards to this. Now, don't forget, there's several overworld checks that we saw from Shady Force that WallKicks could get stuck in this trap of. This right here is part of it by way of this check with the Pyramid Fairy, maybe going to Catfish. Of course, the Zora play could also be coming into play. So, as you mentioned, this race isn't over with.
No, definitely not. And I have to imagine here that WallKicks is going to head up towards Catfish. WallKicks hasn't been to the Zora area at all. So as I mentioned before, we'll be able to mirror and to do the other Zora area checks, Waterfall Fairy and Zora and the ledge, whatnot. So a little bit of time given back to Shady here for every one of these checks that Shady has already done that Wally hasn't.
By the way, serious question.
Serious answer.
Have either of these runners checked Hobo?
No, neither of them checked Hobo, as a matter of fact.
That would be absolutely disgusting if it turned out the Hobo had the boots all along.
Oh, man, that's the worst. Finding something at Hobo is the absolute worst because right? Like even the flippers were pretty late in Logic, right? They were up in Hookshot Cave, behind the Hookshot and the Cape and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so, but Hobo is always right there, and that you can get with a fake flipper really early. As we see Shady Force headed back into, we'll get that Bombos medallion in Left Side Swamp. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Here's question number 2. Where in the world is this freaking lamp?
I still think the lamp is in the back of Thieves Town.
Almost has to be at this point, doesn't it?
There aren't super many places. Will in our tracker Will WC in chat did say more and more people are talking about Hera Basement, which we didn't see either. That could very easily.
That's right. Yeah, that would absolutely be a disgusting location for it right there, as we do see WallKicks heading over towards the Zora. Finds out that that's absolutely nothing, and then now this is where things get interesting. For Shady Force, the checks that Shady Force has made that WallKicks hasn't. WallKicks still of course, the first 4 of Thieves Town is a possibility. The purple chest and K45 are possibilities, and that shovel.
Yeah, plenty of overworld checks that Shady Force and slow ones that Shady Force has already done that WallKicks hasn't. Every one of those that Wally does right now is time given back to Shady. It's the flute away, not going to Spike Cave either.
And so therefore we float to A, and as you've mentioned before, this is going to be a play over towards the Ice Palace. Maybe, no, we're not going to check Hobo first, or maybe we check Hobo first. We're going to check the island first, which is nothing. Now we are going to go into Ice Palace. There is the Bombos for Shady Force.
I would go check Hobo first, to be honest. I would go do.
I agree with you.
Yeah, like if that's the boots, you don't need to go into Ice Palace at all. Ice Palace is pretty quick with the King Mario with Icebreaker, but you go check Hobo first here. That doesn't make much sense to me at all.
All right, Shady Force is fluting away, is going to be heading towards 6, so we will see Shady Force go into Misery Mire. Okay, this race still not over with yet, although it's all coming down to some footwear. If WallKicks finds him first, it pretty much is, at this stage, a GG. Welcome to round number 3. As Shady Force activates the Bombos medallion required to go into this Misery Mire. All right, here is the icebreaker trick for WallKicks. Can he get it first try? Yes, he does. Some buffering strats for it, but gets it done. First item of Ice Palace turns out to be 300 rupees. Don't forget, this is 4 items, with this being the green pendant. Could the boots be vanilla?
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be so delicious.
There's the big key. As Shady Force picks up some of these loose hearts. Will not find anything of major note inside of this dungeon. Heart container is item number 2. That's the 14th and final heart. Last heart we're going to see from in this game.
Yep, is capped at 14 hearts in hard mode, I should say.
Yeah, the hard item pool is what we use for this tournament. Iced tea. Map.
Chat bringing up that that Hobo has had the goods for this series in the past, and which obviously means that it can't be there again, right? That's in the logic. That's false. It can totally happen. I always like to point to the old, like, the guy who writes Dilbert is like a dirtbag, but there's an old Dilbert cartoon where they show Dilbert the random number generator. It's just a troll that says 9 and 9 and 9, 9, 9, 9. And you're like, random? It's like, well, that's the thing. If it's random, you can never tell. So that's what I always like to say on my stream, at least. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9.
Has the 3rd and final item of this Ice Palace. Also has the green pendant. If you're looking for boots here in this Ice Palace, one of those 2 will be the boots. However, we don't know. This is what Randomizer is all about. The unknown. And Tyler, aren't you glad to be joining me for the unknown here?
I am. This is fantastic. There's no other way I would want to be spending my afternoon than right here with you on the SpeedGaming family of networks.
All right, trying to keep him in the corner, goes to the fire rod to do some more damage. WallKicks getting down with a cold stare fight, and cold stare is down, and the drop is 10 arrows. Okay, question is what's on the green pendant?
We'll see. We're closer and closer. By the way, both of our runners have the book. Neither has checked the pedestal. Pedestal's still alive for those boots.
And honestly, if it turns out to be the pedestal, this game goes in WallKicks' direction. Because of the fact that now WallKicks is 2 dungeons ahead, or a dungeon and a half ahead of shadyforce. shadyforce needs to be a little careful. Does have the magic powder. However, you don't really want to take a death at this point. Not this deep inside of this misery mire. Uses the powder. Gets the anti-fairy to give him some of the health restored before we go into the dark rooms.
So to answer a question in chat from Fear Agent, the big difference here is that both of our runners dove TR early, found a bow on Laser Bridge. Shady, and there's our green pen to turn in a big 20. So I've been totally wrong about Ice Palace.
That is red, but it's not the red we're looking for.
And WallKicks saved the portal from TR, went and cleared Pod with the bow, found the ice rod in there, and then was able to go back and finish TR from the Laser Bridge door. Shady had to go all the way back through.
Tyler?
Yes, here's our hobo check.
Yes, here we go. Could Hobo have the goods once again in this seed? shadyforce trying to maneuver to get this switch activated as WallKicks heads on over towards Hobo. We are running out of possible checks here, and where these boots can be. Is Hobo the answer? No!
Hobos don't have shoes.
And so shadyforce now making his way over to Vitreous. Still needs to be careful again. Does have magic powder, so that's not an issue. And now WallKicks is going to be heading into the portal. Do we go into Thieves Town at this stage? Do we do the other things that we saw from shadyforce?
I think you go into Thieves Town. But like, I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to put myself in WallKicks' situation here. Because and it looks like he is going into Thieves Town here. WallKicks cannot feel good right now, having skipped this. We had Dark World access at like 16 minutes, and so WallKicks can't feel good about going into Pendant Thieves at the 90-minute mark, essentially for the first time, looking for go mode.
Okay, well, this race still could be very close. But the question is does shadyforce ignore the Ice Palace? Of course, if it turns out to be Ped, then WallKicks still has the dungeon advantage. But if shadyforce is able to cut that corner, then we have ourselves a match once again. shadyforce is going to go to the flute. If he flutes to 8, then that's going to be pretty much WallKicks has a big significant advantage, and shadyforce is going to flute to 4. Oh, he's going to Ice Palace.
That's a swim to
He's going to check Hobo into Ice Palace, it looks like.
Yep. Yeah, if you're Shady, you really needed. If you're rooting for Shady, you really wanted this to be a. You really wanted this to be a run over to Thieves Town. We would have had a race right there. It would have been a big equalizer. But looking for boots here, running out of places for them to be.
Yep, it's a small key on the torch, and it leads to the big key. The right side of Desert Palace. 90 minutes in, you're feverishly looking at that race time, that GG race room. You don't know where your opponent is, but you know your opponent probably... You think that your opponent has the better run right at this stage. All right, shadyforce, where are we fluting to? We are fluting to 8. This is Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, I hesitate to say, oh, that's GG or whatever, but you really, unfortunately, the big difference here has been that portal save. These runners, other than that save portal, these runners have basically done all of the same stuff in almost the exact same order, and that is going to come up short for Shady, unfortunately, at this point, most likely.
But we don't know at this point. That's not the boots right there. We're looking for footwear. These runners are finding nothing. They're finding anything but the footwear in all of these places. All right, shadyforce doing this Ice Palace. And, you know, We know it doesn't lead to anything immediately, but again, that pedestal could still be the dream. Gotta go fast could still very well be the inscription on that pedestal.
Passing the 90-minute mark and not being in go mode, a terrible feeling. Let me tell
Is.
you. I've had plenty of experience with that.
Every rando runner has had experience with that. You feel really, really rough, and you start to panic even more and more the longer this race goes, and you're still not in go mode. And then you finally find go mode in a spot where you believe that your opponent probably got to like 20 minutes later. Or 20 minutes sooner, and then you're like, how in the world did I not get this sooner? How in the world did I am still in possibility of winning this race? We know Blind's gonna have the fourth and final item. That's a green 20 in that big chest.
Arrow basement still looming for our runners. That's up there.
Here's the funny thing. One of these next two checks have got to be the lamp. This
true.
from Blind or the Hera basement.
Or the Hera basement. Gotta find that lamp somewhere.
All right, WallKicks. Facing off against the Blind. If you keep it in script, this 5 hearts doesn't really matter all that much. All right. Part number 2 done. All right, there's part number 3. Fight is done. Blind is going to drop. It's going to drop. Oh my god! Are you joking me?
Come on, game.
By the way, I want to point this out. Lamp could very well not be in Hera basement.
Yeah, could be on Armos Knights.
It could be on the Armos Knights. We've seen that before.
Is fire rod locked, which you love to see. Hell, the lamp could be on the pedestal for all that we know.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I agree.
That's revolting.
WallKicks needs to check K45 as well. And so is walking, the slow walk with that purple chest.
You know, if these seeds keep happening to me, runners are not going to want me to commentate at all for the remainder of this tournament.
That would be a shame. That would be a shame. Because
not for the runners, they're the ones who have to deal with these seeds.
I mean, did you roll the seed, Rick?
I didn't, but it's this is like the third straight bizarre seed that I've done commentary for. There's got to be some sort of correlation here.
Listen, in the series that I got knocked out of the Challenge Cup in against Grey Corbett, we played 3 races, and 3 races that counted, and every single one of them had a finish time over an hour and 45 minutes. They were all gross. So not on you, Rick. Blame Sahabot. It's all Sahabot's fault.
What if it is Hera basement? What if it is Hera basement?
You know, sometimes those skips, they come back to get you. You know, it's just like you're up in Hera. It's pretty early. Not much that we're looking for. Oh, this is interesting. Shady's turning in the green pendant. Do you think that Shady is going to run and do Armos Knights here after the green pendant? Or is Shady going to go and do back a Thieves Town? I think it's possible. I could see Shady doing Armos Knights here because Shady has already been to the front of Thieves Town. And if Armos Knights is the answer, that's a lead change.
It would be a lead change at this point in time, so that's why this isn't done and over with. And shadyforce is fluting away, not going into Eastern. Okay. Yep, this is going to be going into Thieves Town, finishing off that dungeon. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, game number 3. This is making it even more stressful for these runners. All right, I think WallKicks is done with the checks that we know of. And now it's going to be fluting to 5 to go into Eastern to do those Armos Knights. Watch the Armos Knights drop the freaking lamp.
Yep, that'd be fantastic. Our runners can go all the way back up to Hera basement for the boot. Or or they're on pedestal. Neither of these runners has checked the pedestal yet. We've had the book for a while, but they haven't been there. Hera Basement is way funnier than pedestal, though.
What makes it funnier? The fact that both of them were there about maybe 45 minutes ago and both opted not to do the basement?
If not even longer ago, yeah.
This is a full clear seed for both of these runners, and you do not feel good about this kind of seed.
No, you don't. Right now, I feel great because this is real good television. But if you're playing it, no, it feels terrible. Absolutely terrible.
For the 600 people that are watching this here on Speed Gaming 2 Live, and for the thousands of you that are going to be watching the VODs of this either on Twitch or on YouTube, I hope that you're enjoying this. And if you are enjoying this, please put your delightfulness in the comments and blame Tyler for this.
Absolutely. Feel free. And make sure that you give one of these two poor stats who are running this feed a follow. Both great rando players, and they're going through a lot right now. So the best that you can do is give them a follow on Twitch.
Okay. With that being said, WallKicks going through this lovely little adventure that is Eastern Palace. Shadyforce going through a Thieves' Town we know is not going to be the answer. All eyes are over here on the right screen. I'm excited to see what the Armos Knights will drop here. And 18 arrows may give us the answer to what we are looking for, or just make us more confused. There's 5 arrows, and now we go to the other side. And 18 arrows later, there is the red, but not the red we are looking for.
There's some more red and not the red that we're looking for. Head or Hera Basement? What do you want? Head or Hera Basement?
Somebody get a point prediction going real fast.
Oh man, what a seed. This is fantastic.
Float to 3. Blind pull the pedestal in game 3. It's 98 minutes in.
Hera Basement is a logically acceptable place for the lamp to be. We have the fire rod early and the flute and the mirror all early. So,
all right.
But everybody loves a blind ped pull. Here we go.
These runners don't. You feel miserable, especially when it's not the red that you're looking for.
Yep.
Alrighty, WallKicks going to the pedestal now, about ready to pull it, and here we go. As the 3 pendants are going up into the air, and the light starts to shine over the Lost Woods, and it turns out to be the Green 20. What the heck?
Oh my, oh my.
And back down to the Tower of Hera Basement we have to go now.
Oh, this is amazing. Amazing. What? Are you not entertained, chat? Are you not entertained?
Shadyforce and WallKicks, please tell us if you're entertained after this seed. You can DM both of us right now.
They don't need to be entertained by it.
All right, WallKicks going through the portal. Oh my goodness!
Oh.
We've got a race!
What?
Shadyforce is going up! WallKicks is going up!
I have to say, this is absolutely the wrong play from Shadyforce. Absolutely the wrong play here. I think a much better play to go and do Eastern, but oh boy, do we have ourselves a race now.
All right, downstairs goes WallKicks. Shadyforce is going as well.
Neither of them has been a spike cave either.
Oh my goodness. No, I thought one of them did.
Did Shady do it? I don't think either of them did spike cave. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, we'll find that play afterwards. Okay, downstairs goes WallKicks. Wow, this is now a turn of events. If it does turn out that we have figured out this gold and both of these two are in tile room together.
This is a less than 30-second lead. Less than 30 seconds now between these two.
All right, WallKicks is about to light these torches. And at this stage, gets the loop! What?
This is the best seed ever. I cannot. Oh man, I am so happy to be on the mic for this. This is fantastic.
It's red, but not the red we are looking for. Down to Spike Cave.
I'm laughing so hard I can't even say what I was going to say.
SpeedForce now getting the slamp and WallKicks going through the spikes. And now, don't die. There we go. 2 hearts. Throws the cane at Berna. And at 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 21 seconds, WallKicks the first of these two runners into go mode. SpeedForce right behind it.
Hell yes. Hell yes to this seed. This is incredible. Will we see the 200 plus clear rate?
Ganon Tower's going to say no to that.
Yeah, after all of this, GT Big T on Torch. That was a
You shut your mouth.
hard last location on the boots.
SpeedForce gets into go mode. Here we go. 1 hour 43. WallKicks into desert.
And you know what? Like this all really goes back to the Turtle Rock play. Now that we think about it, right? Because we had WallKicks and WallKicks saving the portal. Like both of them, WallKicks because of saving the portal, and SpeedForce because of saving and quitting out of Laser Bridge. That would have been the best time, or even after they finished TR, would have been the best time for them to check Spike Cave, and neither of them did.
1 hour 43 SpeedForce, 1 hour 43:30 SpeedForce goes into desert, so it's a 30-second lead. And of course, it's going to be Vanilla Big Key.
Of course it is.
There's the big key for WallKicks.
What is going through these runners' minds right now? It can't be
What
good.
have they done? That's what's going through these runners' minds right now. Why aren't they done? Why is there not a done in this? Why am I not released from this hell?
Oh man, that's the you know I'm this is gonna be cheesy, but that is Tyler Salt's saltiest moment of the match. There, those boots in Spike Cave.
You know what's going through their mind? I don't want Rick commentating one of my matches ever again.
Could be me. Could be my fault, Rick.
Now you get the blame in the YouTube comments.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Yeah, after all of this, we're down to GT routing and execution of the gauntlet. After all this,
All right.
this
Let's
is
see
what
how
you
both-
want, though. You want
Yeah.
a close race.
Yeah, this is game 3.
Game 3. Winner is done in the tournament. Winner moves on. Loser is done. And boy, yeah, it doesn't get any better than this.
All right, there's the crystal pickup for WallKicks. SpeedForce about to do the same, and it's going to depend on which one of these two runners goes into GT first. So it should be WallKicks who will keep the count of. So therefore, at that stage, we have a game we're going to play. Tyler Salt, introduce it.
So in the basement of Ganon Tower, there are 22 locations where the big key can be. We need that. Gotta find it. So put your numbers in chat. Between 1 and 22. If you are right, if you are close, you win absolutely nothing. We don't even have a bot to run this. There are no leaderboards. You get imaginary made-up internet points. It is for no stakes whatsoever. But the last opportunity for this seed to troll our runners, it has done it on every single way. possible. And now we're headed up the tower. WallKicks will be in there first. Rick, do you have any insight, or chat, do you have any insight about the preferred routes through GT for these two runners?
They open chests and they move on to the next one. Which way they are going to go, I really don't know. But we are going to see what is going to be maybe a little bit of a divergence here. We don't know. It's going to come down to some routing. It's going to come down to some execution. This is what Game 3 is all about. And you also have to play one other thing that's going through your mind here, Tyler Salt, and that is your nerves. And that is also that question mark of where is your opponent, and how in the world at 106 minutes into this run, there is no dot done considering where those boots were.
Yeah, no, it's neither of these runners feels good at this point. Any thoughts of who is ahead or behind is completely out the window. Both of these runners just hard last locationed the boots, basically. Shady didn't quite, but WallKicks did.
Yeah.
And oh man, this is close.
147-10 for WallKicks into Ganon's tower. Small key. Is this a hope? It's a double key. Okay. This is now interesting.
Maybe Shady goes left, check the torch right away.
Maybe he does a Dark Magician. We'll see. It's a 30-second lead for WallKicks. Shady Force going to the right as well. Will he go full right? If he does, he's not going to gain any advantage on WallKicks based on the decision to go. He's going left!
We got a race, folks!
Red Rupee. 10 arrows. Red Rupee. No big key.
That's a lead change. I would call that, is what that is.
And then the mirror. This is tight. Unless it's tile room. Staffel's room. There it is.
And Shady is out.
Shady, the first one up the tower. WallKicks will get this key. I don't know if he's going to get it the first check or what. He's not. Okay, that's going to be a certain number, another number. I lost track. Yeah, there it is for WallKicks. 3, 1, 2, and 4. Whatever that adds. That's 10.
10. Oh, I usually guess 10, but I guessed 9 because of my random number generator joke earlier. 10 is your winner. This is incredible.
Shady Force now going through the final room here of the 3rd floor. We're going to see these two play the gauntlet. Who gets a better gauntlet? Who gets themselves a better run up this tower? Oh my goodness. Buckle up. And we've got another race right behind this, I do believe.
Yeah, let's pull up that schedule. If you want more rando, there's all kinds of rando happening on SpeedGaming here over today and over however long. But we still have a race to take care of here. It is down to execution. Shady Force has been behind for most of this race and has pulled ahead. Oh man, I don't even know what to say anymore. This is Pog.
It truly is. All right, Shady Force going on to the Lambo as WallKicks is finishing off the first room of the 4th floor gauntlet. Shady Force now. Spin. Can't get a 1 cycle. We'll have to do a 2 cycle, but at least will be a 2 cycle at this stage. Coming up at 9:10 tonight, Boulder versus Alizon, game number 2. That should be a lot of hype right there. Stay tuned. That's coming up out here on SpeedGaming 2 in 2 hours. Back to this here. Shady Force, 1 hour 50-25. Just finished off with the first of the Wiz Robe rooms. WallKicks needs to keep an eye on his health, down to 5 hearts. Does have the powder if he needs it, but I don't know what the current bottle situation is. Does he have a blue potion? I don't know.
You know, I don't think so. Neither of them bought any potions at any point during this run. Both fairies gave us bees in the bottle. So
they have reds.
Reds, but that's it. Oh man.
151 up to 6th floor for Shady Force. WallKicks finishing off with this second of the final whiz ropes. Good thing you didn't get beamed there. Shady Force just walking through the spikes. He knows he doesn't need this key. He has no reasons to check any of these chests. As WallKicks now goes into the first of the torch rooms here on the 5th floor. And Shady Force not even going to bother to replenish his health at this stage. He needs to go, and he needs to go fast. Moldorm 2 coming up. There's the hit, the swing, and there's the spin. Moldorm 2 is down. WallKicks 151-34. WallKicks now going into the mini Helmassar room. Shady Force now down with the Moldorm 2. Is just going to run up here to the Aga. Don't forget, everything is seated here. The way the Aga 2 plays out for both of these runners, the way that Ganon plays out for both of these runners, you have to keep your nerves in check. You have to keep everything calm as you try to get through this, because of how late this run is, where those boots turned out to be. You gotta put where your opponent is behind you. Oh, a couple of swings and misses there for Shady Force.
WallKicks did stop and get and got powdered those anti-fairies in the Moldorm 2 room, and Shady Force didn't. So that'll be something to keep an eye up on here. Shady unfortunately missed a nice pattern there, so there is a little bit of time in this Aga 2 fight for WallKicks to make it back.
152 as we see the duck pick up Shady Force at 152-39. WallKicks now getting on against the Aga 2 fight. Gets, well
no, Wally, no!
There's that. All right, back to Shady Force as he gets ready to drop into the Ganon fight, as WallKicks is continuing on with this Aga 2 fight. So Shady Force now getting the history about the bacon. Gets a solid double spin right there. Gets him, doesn't get him a perfect setup, so we're probably going to be dealing with a 1+2. And Shady Force, nice use of the hook shot there to give himself a little extra room to get a few hits in there. Nope, 1+1. Here we go. Stage number 3 for Shady Force. Over to the top right. Oh God, these warps. When you're nervous, you don't need these warps. Top left for Shady Force. Bottom right, now top right. Come on, Ganon, stop these warps. Oh, goodness.
Up WallKicks' stream, it's giving me an ad. It is back on, but I cannot see where he is yet.
Yeah, we'll find out in just a moment here. And there's the first hit for Shady Force. Do not fall down. There we go. Get the torch glitch. And now 12 spins to win, 11 more to go. There's 10 remaining. To the top right has to light the torch, so can't get anything there. There's 3. That will be 4 for Shady Force. Gets the triple cycle there. That's 5 down for Shady Force to the top left. That's 6. Bottom middle, that's 6 and 7. And this is going to be 8 for Shady Force. Couple more torch lights. That's 9. Top left for Shady Force, that's 10. Very solid Ganon fight, that's 11. As we get to stage 4 for the Ganon fight coming up here for WallKicks, and that's Shady Force with a 12th and final spin. And Shady Force comes back on Ganon's tower routing and is going to go to round 3 of the tournament.
What an ending, chat. Get those GGs in chat for Shady Force. Maybe the match of the tournament so far. I have to say, I haven't watched everything, but that was hard to top that race from these two. Absolutely unbelievable race. Oh man, I need a cigarette after this. Holy crap.
WallKicks over here to the top right, continuing on with the Ganon fight, and there is the finish there for WallKicks. Get your GGs. 2 solid competitors in this race. Sad we had to lose one of them. Shady Force 155.01. WallKicks 155.41. A 40-second win for Shady Force.
GG's to Shady Force, GG's to WallKicks. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get both of these folks into the booth for an interview. You could not ask for a more entertaining race. Make sure that you give these guys a follow on Twitch. We'll put their handles in the chat. Again, just unbelievable race. GG's to Fear for rolling that seed.
This is really quite the run.
Like we're waiting on invites for our two runners to join us. So hopefully those come pretty soon. Oh man, there's so many moments in. I've got some questions for these runners. We're gonna ask them about. We're gonna ask them about Dark Maze, about the portal, saving the portal in TR. I'm gonna ask shadyforce about EP and PED. But here they come. They're gonna be here in just a moment. We are joined by our runners, shadyforce and WallKicks. GG, you two. That was probably much more fun to watch than it was to play, I have to imagine.
Yeah. I mean, GG's Shady. He always
GG
deserved
WallKicks.
the win here. I'm just... oh my god, I don't know.
I think you said it about being more like I was miserable that entire seed, and I am shocked that I was shocked to even get into GT before the finish, and then I had to conclude that WallKicks must have like full cleared the entire game just like me, and not even in the best order either. He must have done it in the bad order. And like it obviously looked like a very exciting race, but it really pisses me off that it looks like it just came down to GT rooting. Like what a ridiculous way to win. If I overtake him in the gauntlet, I'm super happy. But if it's just GT rooting, it's so annoying. He can WallKicks. You should feel really unlucky about that. And I kind of feel bad.
I mean, it is what it is. This is Rando in a nutshell. Like, I mean, if boots aren't required, I sub 130 this seed. If I go to hook, or if I go to Spike Cave like I told myself to do after Hookshot Cave, I sub 130 this seed. Like, there's that you know, that's on me. So, you know, you stuck it out and pulled out the win. Nothing more to it than that.
It's very hard to go to Spike Cave. I find when you just got the flippers and suddenly all of Womp and all of Ice Palace are open, it just seems like they're better places to be. So I wasn't really that tempted to go to Spike Cave. I would have otherwise, but once I get the flippers, I'm out of there.
Yeah, you had a lot of things open up, and you know this. You know, the interesting thing is you probably sat there once you got those boots and you wondered how in the world is there not a dot done or a finish on the race time that GG? How in the world is your opponent not finished with this seed? Because you figure your opponent's got those boots and has had those boots and was in go mode a lot sooner. And it was just amazing the fact that it was just within seconds that you both got it here. Just amazing the way that this race played out. Now I want to talk about the early part of this run. And shadyforce, I'm going to begin with you. That was a tutorial on how to do Mothula with low health and hammer.
I believe I survived. So
with 2 hearts remaining, 1 hit KO if Mothula touches you.
Yeah, I won hit KO for the whole fight. I can't believe it. I tried to be patient, and to be fair, I did get some friendly RNG. He did swing down to the middle a few times for me. I was surprised. I was as surprised as anyone that I didn't die there.
And of course, we saw WallKicks then go in a little bit sooner after that, and your fight was pretty decent as well. You had a little bit more issue with Mothula. Mothula wasn't playing quite as nice with you as it did shadyforce, but a solid fight overall for both of you, given the low health situation that both of you were in at that early point of the race. And, you know, really, we got to see a lot of great execution from both of you. Of course, Shady, you made up a bunch of time by not falling into the Eastern Trap, but I would have to say the play of the tournament, or the play of this run, may have actually belonged to WallKicks, who saved the portal and went back to Turtle Rock and skipped that entire run through, whereas Shady Force went back through.
Yeah, as I was going through it, I decided in my head early in Turtle Rock that I just wasn't going to save the portal if it wasn't there. Because I kind of assumed that it wasn't going to be possible. So I didn't even bother to try. I didn't want to waste time. I didn't want to bomb the wall or mirror out or anything. I just wanted to get out of there and head to pod. So, but I should have thought about it more. So, that was a better play by WallKicks, I think.
Yeah, I'm amazed that I was actually able to save the portal in the end, because like you get the bow and you're like, all right, cool, I can do pod now, and in your head you're going over ways you can potentially save the portal, but at the same time I don't have hook shot, so I'm like, okay, well, if I get the ice rod before I get the hook shot, any attempt to save the portal is null and void because I got to use the mirror anyways. But I got the mirror, or I got cape and back pod. I'm like, oh my god, I can actually pull off this mirror, this portal save.
And the funny thing is how things worked out. The fact that the ice rod was just seconds before you go downstairs, and oh hi, there's the cape that gets you the hook shot.
They were consecutive chests. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I lost this race, but I'm gonna pat myself on the back a little bit because I had the seed mapped out. I had everything right, except just like in game one, I skipped one item. In game one, I skipped, green pendant flippers. In this seed, I skip bumper K boots. So I had everything else right in this seed to sub 130 as long as the boots weren't required. Or I just do spike cave.
What you mean by that is spike cave boots, but of course, I mean, we get to say goodbye to you, WallKicks, but oh my goodness, you threw on quite a show, and I really do hope that people get to follow you just so they could watch more great execution and routing that you put together like you did in this race here. And, we're going to miss you out of this tournament, but anything you want to say as you make your exit?
GG's again, Shady. I know you're hoping to play some Super Mario. It looks like you're now going to have to try to beat Airy or Aussie, so I'm gonna wish you the best luck, and I'm a root for you going forward, dude.
Thanks so much, dude. Yeah, you'll get your revenge on me again soon in another tournament pretty soon. I'm absolutely certain of it. I got the luck this time. I got the rub of the green, so.
I would encourage both of you to watch this race back. I know that Rick and I had an absolute blast watching this one. It came down to the wire and did not look like it was going to come down to the wire for a long time. So WallKicks, maybe give yourself a break before watching it back. But wow, what a race that you guys put on. Thank you very much for both of you.
Yeah, and thanks again for the restreams. Sorry for any internet issues I'm still having. Hopefully those will get fixed soon.
You didn't have as much as we were worried about when you were mentioning about your internet issues leading into this series. So I'm glad we were able to get you restreamed these 3 races against Shady Force to at least showcase the abilities that you can put forth through. I mean, both of you are runners that I look that I look up to personally. So I'm really glad to be able to call this race. And GG's to you, Shady Force, and GG's to you, WallKicks. Both legendary and wonderful people to follow.
Well, thanks, Rick. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rick. I don't even know what to say. That was absolutely incredible.
I do want to turn over to Shady Force real fast. Now, you mentioned that upcoming 3rd round pairing, which is either going to be Aussie versus Arior. Now, I know a piece of your heart really wants to see Arior because you two always seem to find a way to play each other, and of course, you two are also well known with each other. So, how much? If it does turn out to be Arior, what could we look forward to in that series?
Well, you could look forward to Airy absolutely destroying me in execution like he does in every NMG race, and me hoping to just get incredibly lucky to beat him. That's what you can look forward to.
And what if you get Aussie?
It's the same one. Aussie's incredible. Aussie's really good execution. Like not in terms of raw movement. Like nobody's as good as Airy in the rando community. Nobody at all. But Aussie is like definitely probably top 5 anyway in terms of his execution as well. Like I'm an underdog against both of those guys. It's just Eri and I have a little bit of history because we meet in every single vanilla Link to the Past speedrun tournament that comes up. I always seem to face him. And it started off, he beat me narrowly when we were both kind of getting into the game. We had both done rando and we both joined our first NMG tournament. And he was a little bit better than me at the time, so he won the race. And then ever since then, he's become a god at NMG, and I'm just like still a scrub, basically. So it'll be fun, but I'm an underdog against either of those guys.
Well, I know everybody who watched this race, maybe except for Ari, who was in chat for a while, is gonna be pulling for you after this race. I certainly will be. That was absolutely fantastic. So I can't say enough good things. I don't even have anything smart to say right now.
Yeah.
About how much I enjoyed this.
This is the kind of the case where I think we just go ahead and bring things to a close for this race. What an amazing race, and it's been a lot of fun here. Please follow both of these runners, as I've mentioned about 63 different times over the course of this run, because they're fantastic runners and they put on a great show for the many of us that are watching here on Speed Gaming 2. And also don't forget, coming up in a little bit, we've got in 2 hours the match between the Boulder and Alizon, game number 2 of that best of 3 series that begins at 9:10 p.m. Eastern here on Speed Gaming 2. So Will WC was the one clicking the buttons for us behind the scenes. Special thanks to him for doing that. Tyler, I think this is the first time we've done commentary, and what a match to do commentary for.
I couldn't have asked for anything better. It just I always wanted to work with you. This is fantastic. I hope we get to do it again soon, and I hope that the next race that we get to do is as hype as this one was. This was fantastic.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and wrap things up. Special thanks once again to Will WC, our tracker, for Shady Force Games and WallKicks, our 2 runners, and for the crew here at Speed Gaming. I'm Adirondack saying thank you for joining us. And Tyler, you get the final word.
Take care of yourselves, chat. Have a good one. See you in the next race.